Am I doing this right, man? Because I haven't seen any improvement. I know it's only been a few weeks or whatever, but where are the results and the gains I was expecting and that were promised to me? Can anybody even hear me? Because I know for sure nobody can see me because ain't nobody around. If you think that and those questions are tough now, wait until they become even more loud, noisy, and profound, which is perplexing because everything about why they are formulating in your mind has everything to do with you making a concerted effort to better improve your life for your life. What is great, good, and real? And welcome to another episode of the Do You Rules podcast. I'm feeling blessed. I hope you're feeling blessed. And we're here to work to ensure you are the number one priority in your life. And on today's episode, we are on to part 3 of the Rise and Grind series, Dominate the Morning. Focusing this talk, if you haven't caught on yet, on the bad and the ugly of adopting this routine and concept. And oh boy, it is ugly. Don't doubt it. And that was an intentional cliche pun for segue purposes. Self-doubt, self-criticism exists. And that is true in all aspects of our lives. But it's quite paramount to this style of movement because, as already established in previous episodes, it's not really enough to dominate every now and again. That's not the definition of dominate. This is an everyday commitment. And in this way, it is absolutely ugly and uncomfortable and somewhat debilitating to have this lingering over your head all day because it's like, damn, I got to be up at 4. I got to be up at 4 tomorrow. I got to be up at 4 tomorrow. I got to be up at 4 tomorrow. But wait, I don't really have to be up at 4 tomorrow. It's just that I said I would because really nothing bad will happen if I don't get up at 4 tomorrow. It's just that I told everyone around me that this is what it was I was doing. But they stopped asking. And they don't really ask about it anymore, which really makes it less exciting, which translates into it's not really worth talking about anymore. And like I said, I've been doing this for a few weeks. So watch this. No results, no impact, no gains. I suddenly find myself less spirited, which really means less enthusiastic and motivated and inspired. In fact, when I really think about it, all this for what? This is honestly the most tired I have ever felt in my entire life. My body hurts from the work, and not just from working out, but it's more like just because I know I'm doing this hurts. My mind hurts, and not just from trying to be still and pray and meditate and the experience of all the emotions, feelings I'm somewhat materially ingesting, but just because I know I am doing this, which leads me once again to why exactly am I doing this again? And this goes on and on and on. This sort of need to consciously convince yourself over and over that this is something worth doing, that this is something worth repeating, that this is something worth being consistently committed to. Which, if you haven't found out, it just sucks repeating these types of thoughts, right? Just imagine thinking tirelessly about how you have to wake up at 4 the next day. And all you have to do to make sure you wake up at 4 the next day, which now makes you identify all that could put this at risk, which now feels like suddenly everything. is a risk. Everyone's an enemy who's out to get you and disrupt your flow, which isn't entirely true, but it still sucks. Then you look down at your watch or your phone after all these thoughts and all the pain and all the frustration. You look at it and it's like, it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. For real. This is the first phase of mental pain that comes with this level of domination. The perpetuating battle in your mind where you are doing everything in your power through all the physical and strenuous activity you've done, through all the small wins you have already gained. The overall pain and suffering in the body alone is very tangible and real, and enough to make you call it quits and tap out. But even more so is the pain in your mind of convincing yourself to do it all again tomorrow, that it will be worth it. And even though you can't see it now, it's that belief of eventuality feeling that comes with the snail pace of moving in delayed gratification. Now, if this isn't enough to deter you, this feeling like you're walking around constantly with a boulder of heavy gravity attached physically to your back with tentacles that stretch into the recesses of your brain and thoughts, guess what? If that's not enough ugly, what you once had time for, you no longer have time for. Therefore, the addition by subtraction game starts, which, like, getting up early is cool at first, but it's really tough to endure and sustain consistently. It gets ugly. Like when your colleagues or your friends or your homies are like, yo, did you catch that game last night? Old boy went off and dropped 50 on them. It was crazy. The crowd and everybody was going bananas. But yo, meet me at the bar tonight. Let's have a few to knock the edge off. It's been a long day, a long week. Or how about come through and bring the family to the gathering we're having this Saturday night? You get where I'm going with this? Whatever social life you have today, at least in the way you experience it today, is done. Finito. Now, let's break this down. This is not an indictment on anyone, which is to say, not all people or life indulgences suck, and you should therefore cut off all pleasure because you're a sinner and you're going to fry in hell. No, it's not like that. Do what you got to do. It's all good to me. Here's what this is about. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. How you lived previously is now in direct conflict to how you are living now. And any deviation from the routine of dominating the morning, especially early on in the journey, is a risk to your new lifestyle. And now try explaining this to your friends and social life. I keep doing this because I have quotes on my screen. The same friends and social life that has gotten you to where you are, and therefore, when you first told them of this journey, in great pleasure, they toasted to your bravado. The well wishes and ego pushes, emphasizing your inspired state, are now antagonistic contradictors and conflicting obstacles in your way, because now it's like, nah, bruh, I ain't catch that game last night. I was asleep. Because, I got to wake up at 4 tomorrow. Nah, my G, I would love to go to the bar and knock it off, but I can't go tonight because, I got to be up at 4 tomorrow. No to this. No, I cannot. And oh, by the way, no to that too. Suddenly, the motivating, supporting cast doesn't just dissipate. It turns to sly smirks, laughter, and a little bit of hate. He thinks he's better because now he got to wake up at 4. He's hot shit now. He's been doing it for like 3 weeks. Ain't nothing changed. He still looks the same to me. He ain't nobody. Yep. The same mood that is in your mind, the same thoughts that you can't get over are the same thoughts returned to you by the life you are trying to Divorce, it is ugly, my G. And the ugliest of truths is that this leaves you to you. All you think you want and all you think you are, you find out quick and fast what you really about. And try that truth on for size for a few weeks, because the sweet dream of achieving the dream body, or the connected dream spirit, or the dream realization of riches, whatever the dream that pushed you to this morning routine, you find that it's there. It's just that it ain't nearly as close as you had hoped, because you ain't nearly as ready as you had thought. And there's no one to believe your lies anymore. That is the ugly that keeps us in the dark, my friend. You are not who you think you are, because you are exactly who you think you are, which means you are not who you said you were, because you're exactly what you said you were. And you are not who you could be because of who you've been. And the only person who knows this is you, to which I promise ain't nothing uglier than that. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Do you and stay rich.